Tyson Fury has brutally ripped Jake Paul after he stopped the Mike Tyson fight. Seriously, everyone in the boxing world watched Jake go from being totally obsessed with Tyson to losing interest faster than a kid with a new toy. But Fury, being the shark guy he is, saw this coming from the get-go. He even warned Mike Tyson not to let Jake anywhere near the ring, saying Jake was only in it for the hype and fame. But no, in a moment of anger, Mike thought he'd teach Jake a lesson, and their Jake's plan worked out perfectly. But now, Tyson Fury has revealed the secret of this postponed fight, and believe me, it's horrible. Well, you might not have seen Tyson Fury hogging the headlines about the whole Mike versus Jake circus, but trust me, he was the guy who knew way more than anyone gave him credit for. When the fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson was announced, Fury had a lot to say. He didn't just sit back and let it happen. Oh no, he was quick to raise his eyebrows and voice his concerns. Fury wasn't just making small talk about the match. He was practically shouting a warning from the rooftops.
Jake Paul can fight, I love you know. I think they're about both the same kind of experience. He's had a few pro fights, he's had a few. Tommy had a limited amateur background, 10 fights or something. I think it'd be an even fight, to be fair.
Tyson Fury saw right through Jake Paul's flashy fat god and wasn't afraid to call it out. While everyone else was getting hyped about the fight, Fury was seeing the hidden motives and unseen dangers lurking behind Jake's big brash persona. This wasn't about the love of boxing or a genuine competitive spirit. Jake was chasing fame, not a genuine boxing career. Fury made it crystal clear that Jake was more interested in grabbing the spotlight and making headlines than respecting the sport. Fury's warning wasn't just some throwaway comment. It was a serious heads-up. He saw Jake as a man with a mask, hiding his real intentions behind all that loud and showy exterior. Fury wasn't just blowing hot air. He seemed to know things that the rest of the world was blind to. He spoke of hidden dangers and hinted at motives that were way more twisted than Jake's fans could ever imagine. Here is Jake's response to him.
Another stepping stone on my road to becoming a world champion. He's training this guy and he has no idea what the fuck he's doing, right? Like the dad doesn't know shit about boxing.
The clash promised to be a spectacle, a meeting of old school boxing promise and modern day celebrity boxing hype. But just as the excitement reached its peak, Jake Paul dropped the bombshell and the fight was canceled. Fans were left stunned and critics didn't hold back their disappointment. The abrupt cancellation raised a flurry of questions. Why now? What could have possibly gone wrong? As the dust settled, it became clear that this wasn't just a case of cold feet. There were deeper, darker undertones at play when Jake Paul suddenly called off his fight with Mike Tyson. The fire was like a bomb going off Mike Tyson. The man known for his non-nonsense attitude and legendary temper was not having it. This wasn't just a letdown. It was a slap in the face to Tyson's legacy and to the sport of boxing itself. And Tyson didn't just voice his disappointment. He dropped the bombshell of his own because Jake has previously begged him to be in the fight. As he said, "I've always been ready. I've always been trying to get into the ring." Tyson threatened to hit Jake Paul with a mind-blowing $350 million fine for backing out of the fight. This wasn't some idle threat. Tyson made it crystal clear that he expected Jake to cough up big-time. Jake Paul, despite raking in the dough from his YouTube stunts and boxing gigs, found himself in a serious pickle with his net worth floating somewhere between $8 and $17 million. Coughing up $350 million wasn't just a stretch. It was downright impossible. This wasn't just a smack on the wrist. This was a financial nuke that could obliterate Jake's career and personal fortune. Tyson's ultimatum sent a loud and clear message to Jake Paul.
Out of fucking money for no reason. And I'm like, it just pisses me the fuck off. And then
you're good. Take a break. Take a break.
Yeah, take a breather.
We
can sit for a second. Wanting to see me fail for literally like fucking nothing. Like they're suing me for something I didn't do.
Tyson Fury, never one to shy away from speaking, seized the moment to make some explosive revelations. Fury didn't just end. He outright accused Jake Paul of trying to bribe referees. This wasn't a new tactic, according to Fury. He pointed to Jake's fight with Tommy Fury, Tyson's own brother, where Jake allegedly attempted to manipulate the outcome by slipping money to the officials. These accusations weren't whisper in the shadows, but boldly stated in interviews and on social media. Fury's words carried weight, and the allegations added fuel to an already raging fire. The plot thickened further with whispers of Jake Paul's involvement in a health scare that struck Mike Tyson. Just days before the highly anticipated showdown between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, the boxing world was hit with shocking news. Mike Tyson experienced a severe flare-up of his chronic ulcer condition. Tyson, the legendary heavyweight champion, suddenly sidelined by a health crisis that seemed to come out of nowhere. The timing couldn't have been worse, as this incident threw the entire fight into jeopardy, leaving fans and critics were left in utter disbelief as the news spread. Speculations began to surface. One of the most compelling theories was the idea of diet sabotage. Detailed reports revealed that Tyson's meals, usually meticulously planned and monitored, contained NSS, like ibuprofen and aspirin. These non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs are notorious for irritating ulcers and exacerbating such conditions. The presence of these substances in Tyson's diet wasn't just an oversight, it was a glaring red flag. Given in Tyson's medical history, there was no logical reason for him to be consuming these medications, especially so close to a major fight. This discovery led to a flurry of questions. How did these drugs get into Tyson's system? Was it an accidental mix-up, or was there a more sinister motive at play? Dr. James Lewis, a gastroenterologist at the Mayo Clinic, explained on ESN that the presence of a patient with Tyson's medical history could lead to severe complications, including significant pain and internal bleeding. Tyson's health crisis was more than just a personal setback. It was a potential scandal that called into question the ethics of those involved in the sport. Fury's willingness to speak out even without definitive proof highlighted the importance of vigilance and transparency in boxing as accusations, which, while controversial, serve as a wake-up call, prompting many to look more closely at the behind-the-scenes matters that could influence the outcome of high-profile matches. The ulcer incident, with all its accompanying drama and speculation, was a moment that underscored the complex interplay of health ethics and competition in the world of boxing. The idea that a boxer's health could be sabotaged in such a manner was a stark reminder of the darker side of competitive sports. Fury's willingness to speak out even without definitive proof highlighted the importance of vigilance and transparency in boxing as accusations. While controversial, serve as a wake-up call, prompting many to look more closely at the behind-the-scenes matters that could influence the outcome of high-profile matches as these theories gained traction. The public's perception of Paul took another hit. He was no longer just the rash YouTube star turned boxer. He was a controversial figure, shrouded in scandal. Cancellation of the fight, and visually seen as a disappointment, now seemed to be part of a larger, more complex story. Fury's revelations added a new dimension to the narrative. His accusations weren't just about one fight. They were about a broader issue of fairness and sportsmanship. It was clear. Boxing should be about skill and honor, not backroom deals and dirty tricks. His vocal criticism of Paul resonated with many in the boxing community who felt that the sport's purity was under threat, according to Tyson. Jake's crew was on a mission to sway the rest as well. The game plan was always to ensure a win for Jake at any cost. We're talking serious money being thrown around the round, not just chump change. Supposedly just days before the fight, Jake's team approached the officials with heavy bribes. They weren't subtle about it either. They were offering big bucks to make sure all the calls went Jake's way. Forget about a fair fight. This was about buying a victory. Annoying bro, I worked my asterisk soft for them to just discredit it. But it's also a compliment in many ways because they simply can't believe how good I am. And they have to come up with any excuse to comprehend it. And it sucks. But the people that believe that are also the lowest of intellect. It's illegal to reify. You literally would go to prison for a long time. So the fight with Fury wasn't the first time Jake faced such accusations. There's a pattern here, and it's not pretty. Multiple sources claim Jake's bribery attempts have been a recurring theme. One story involves an official who was approached with an offer, but flat out confused, choosing integrity over easy money. This anonymous hero turned down a substantial bribe, showing that not everyone can be bought, and like every criminal, he denies his charges. I think that my fights are a compliment because they can't comprehend how good I am. But also, one particularly juicy incident involved a high-profile match where Jake's team allegedly offered serious cash to the referees. The deal was clear. Make sure key decisions favor Jake, whether it was scoring close calls in his favor or overlooking fouls. If you've been keeping up with this fight from day one, you probably have some strong opinions on all this craziness. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's see what you guys think.